Well, a very good afternoon or good morning to our good morning to our viewers at home. Of course, indeed, we're coming to you live from the city of Tshwane, right here in Pretoria. That is where public servants, workers have started gathering from early in the morning to embark on that march. This is, of course, the main march taking place right here in Pretoria, where they'll move from here, Beggars Park, to the Treasury. This is where a memorandum of demands will be submitted to the Treasury officials in the afternoon. You can remember that most of this workers here are public servants. They've downed tools today, parking their duties basically to embark on this demonstration. We have three federations that are here. We have FEDUSA, we have COSATU, we have of course SAFTU as well that are here. They're of course singing from the same hymn book, all joined and united in trying to send a message to the employer that they are indeed rejecting that 3% as they call for a 10% above inflation wage offer. Let me bring into the discussion now COSATU's first deputy president, Mr. Mike Shingange, who's here joining the workers here in trying by almost to send that message to the employer that the 3% is something that as the workers you are rejecting. Welcome to the SABC, sir. Let us in on what we can expect here today. We've seen that your members are already raring to march to the Treasury to submit that memorandum of demands.
Thank you very much for having us. Yes, indeed, workers are here. You'll remember that when we deadlocked with government and we took a certificate of non-resolutions, we did say that was going to be an ongoing rolling mass action. And this is what we are doing today. The workers are going to be handing the memorandum, calling on government to come back to the negotiating table and up their offer because overwhelmingly the workers have rejected the 3%. We're also going to be handing a memorandum and calling for the stop on the undermining of the collective bargaining, particularly the unilateral implementation of a non-signed agreement, while government has an audacity to renege on the signed agreement that we signed in 2018, but the one that is unsigned, the unilateral implement. So that's what one message we're sending up here today. We are hoping that they are going to listen and come back, because failing to do that, it means all these workers in the public service are going to shut down the public service.
The government in the statements that they've been sending out through the Department of Public Servants and Administration, saying that they've always been willing to come back and sit down with the workers back on the negotiating table to thrash out this issue. But we're seeing them also on Friday already releasing a statement to say actually that offer was 7.5, something that the workers actually vehemently rejected, to say we are still on 3%. Have they been communicating with you guys about an appetite to get back to the negotiating table to discuss and negotiate where this 3% is concerned? Or basically we'll see that those statements coming out, but as the workers you are as confused because yours was to discuss there at the bargaining council?
Firstly, Katlego, it is not true. The government left us at the bargaining council. The government put pen to paper on the 3% and they said this is a final offer. They gave us 21 days to consult our members. We came back, our members said they are rejecting it. So it's not true that we have walked away from. They walked away from us. We went to conciliation, they went to parliament. We are not represented in parliament. When Minister Godongwana was presenting a budget, he said they have given us 3%, they are implementing it. We were at the conciliation, you were with us at the SABC. They left us there. So it's not true that we have left the bargaining table. We are waiting for them to come back and up their offer. Secondly, you know the maths. The offer is public knowledge. You can go to the SABC, you can come to us, you can come to these workers here, they will give you a pay slip. They didn't get the 7%, they got 3%. We're not crazy. We're not going to reject the 7.5% in this economy. We're not crazy. The employer gave us 3%. That's what we have rejected. Yes.
And them are just also coming through to say that the public wage bill is bloated and they cannot afford to just meet you halfway where that 10% is concerned, and also saying that indeed also the statement are just utterances by the finance minister that if they indeed move to adhere to what you're calling for, this might even trigger the retrenchments of some of the public servants or public workers that are in this space. What do you make of that, the retrenchment issue and the public sector wage bill that they're saying that is bloated?
But who are they going to retrench? Because the public service, that countdown is low. We have got many queues in Home Affairs because there's no staff there. We've got many queues in the hospital because there's no staff there. We've got field classes there because there are no teachers. Who are they going to retrench? They must employ more than 10,000 police now as we speak because the crime is growing and the population is growing. Who are going to find? Are they going to find public service to retrench? Because public service are shrinking on a daily basis. That's number one. Number two, on the bloated wage bill, we will again keep on clarifying that the figure they are raising is not the figure that is covered by the scope of the SABC only, which is the one that they are targeting. It's a figure, what they call a consolidated compensation of employees, which include themselves as parliament, which include judges, which include municipalities, which include SOEs, which includes everyone else, but they are not counted when we must now all tighten the belt. It's only the public services, the PSABs who must tighten the belt. So it includes the goods and services that the Auditor General year in and year out says that it's a cause for concern because it's where the money is leakaging. That's why we have said to them they must come back and consolidate all the expenditure of the state, how much it costs for the state to administer the public service in this country.
And just finally on my end, sir, we know that you're going to be submitting a memorandum of demands there to the Treasury. Really, how impactful are you expecting today's demonstration to go by, just nationally? And if indeed you don't get a response from the government or the employer, could we see that national, shutdown just being implemented in the public sector?
This day is a history in the making, that the workers across the public service, irrespective of their unions and their federations, are coming together. Obviously, they've got an impact that has ever been seen before, and we do think that going forward, this is how we're going to operate going forward in order to unite ourselves, because this is a class matter. The working class is under siege here, and we need to unite. And we do think that the impact of today is very historic, and there's no turning back from here.
Mr. Shingange, thank you very much, sir, for your time. He's coming through from COSATU there, just letting us in on the impact of this demonstration here today. The workers are raring to march to the Treasury. We're coming to you live from Lillian Ngoyi Street, right here in the city of Tshwane. And that is where, of course, the police are also on standby to guard against anything that may come out of this demonstration here. But you had Mr. Mike Shingange saying that as the workers, they've always, reached out to the employer, and they are hoping that the employer, instead of sending statements or even going to Parliament to announce that 3%, they should go back to the bargaining council. They've taken issue, vehemently, Naledi, there to the undermining of the bargaining process there at the Public Service Coordinating Bargaining Council, saying that it's high time government comes back, to ensure that indeed they try by all means to get back to the negotiating table. I'm going to ask Asbu to just show you what's happening behind us right now. These are the workers, some of the workers that have gathered here. Nessus hate this 3%. These are the public workers from Denosa. We have here another one saying stop austerity, invest in public services. The PSA saying stop an attack on the collective bargaining process. You can imagine that these workers, they've decided that they're going to sacrifice their pay for today to ensure that they embark on that impactful day of action. And they're saying this is a warning shot to the employer. If the employer doesn't come back to them with a fruitful offer, they are going to be taken to the street on a mass scale. Naledi?
Yes. Yeah, this is really quite something. 800,000 workers across the 3 labor federations, COSATU, FEDUSA and SAFTU, also with the support of a PSA in attendance as well, going on strike. Katlego, I think before I let you go there, we saw the presence of the Public Servants Association as well, that really had started their action last week already, and they've talked about that unity between that they have with the other federations. Have we ever seen this much synergy between the labor federations that hold the various labor unions in our country?
Well, Naledi, the last time something like this took place in the public sector, the downing of tools, was in 2010. And this is where we saw a picture like we are seeing this time around, where the federations will just come together, sing from the same hymn book, in trying by all means to convince the employer that across board they are rejecting that wage offer, still inviting the employer to come back to the negotiating table to just more or less try by all means to ensure that they negotiate in good faith here. You can imagine that indeed these are 3 major federations in the public sector, and they're trying by all means to unite so that they can send an impact to the employer to say that they need to revisit or reverse that 3%. PSA just 2 weeks ago down in tools in that march. They're saying that they did not receive any fruitful response from the employer in terms of that 3-point memorandum of demand that was submitted submitted to the Treasury, but they were slamming, of course, the Treasury to say when they submitted that memorandum of demands 2 weeks ago, the finance minister wasn't there to accept the memorandum. President Cyril Ramaphosa was out of this country, not there to accept the memorandum on behalf of government. So they are hoping that today there will be an official there in the likes of the finance minister or even the DG to accept their memorandum of demands, but they are pushing to be united to, like 2010, what they did in 2010, to just ensure that government feels the wrath of the workers here and comes back to the bargaining council to negotiate with them, as they are calling for an above inflation, a double digit, really a 10% wage offer that they've been forced to go back to after government reneged and ensured that they unilaterally implement that 3%. Naledi?